Welcome to Pathways of Hope. My name is Lucy Taka and I would like to share with you my reflections on the Gospel of today, taken from Matthew chapter 23, verses 13 to 22. One of the things Jesus always spoke strongly against is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is defined as the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform. The word hypocrite was originally used to describe an actor who wore a mask, and therefore came to be used as a label for a person who pretended to be someone he was not. Jesus especially used this label on the scribes and Pharisees. They enforced strict regulations upon the people and meted punishment on the smallest infractions. They focused on the letter of the law without considering the spirit of it, and were more concerned about appearances than the state of the heart. They placed importance on temporal rather than eternal things. Jesus called them hypocrites because they did not practice what they preached. They preached about love of God and neighbor, but measured that through compliance with rules and regulations rather than service and charity. They made it hard on the people to obey because of the myriad prescriptions they imposed. As a result, the people either resented religion or were led astray. The gospel today invites us to reflect on the way we practice our faith. Do we walk our talk? Do we practice what we preach? In other words, do we have integrity? Integrity is the quality of being honest and morally upright. It is the state of being whole and undivided. Can people say of us, "You know, with Lou, what you see is what you get. Nothing more, nothing less. She's the same inside and out." Or are we like the scribes and Pharisees who say one thing and do another, and harbor yet another thing in our hearts? Whenever I give talks or share reflections on scriptures, I always examine myself and see if I measure up to the truths I am sharing. Often, I fall short and tell myself, "Listen to yourself speak and apply what you are saying." In effect, I preach to myself. It is only by God's grace and mercy that the words I speak have any efficacy and impact at all on others. Should we stop proclaiming God's truth because we fall short of them? Not at all. God can use mere donkeys as long as they submit themselves to Him and continue to strive to be better. What is important is the humble recognition that we are far from perfect and that we need to be continuously transformed by the power of the Holy Spirit. We need to constantly examine ourselves to see what needs to change and improve. Integrity is key to our witnessing to God's life and love. If we do not have any credibility, we may lead others away from God rather than to Him. Let us not become obstacles to the pursuit of God by others, or worse, cause them to sin. It is good to be reminded of Matthew chapter 18, verse 6, which states, "But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea." When people examine our lives, let them not sigh in exasperation because all they can think of are stringent rules and regulations. Instead, let us hope and pray that they see us as vessels of God's love, because of whose lives they will desire to know and love God more. What we must remember is that the God who calls us to this life, the God who we are swearing to live our lives solely for, is a God who is faithful and will always make His grace available to us. He will enable us to do the right thing, to act with integrity. The Holy Spirit will empower us to persevere in our decision to love and serve God and His people. Let us continue to allow God to mold us into men and women of holiness, men and women who are radical and authentic disciples, who can be used by Him to bring many more to Himself. If you were blessed by this reflection, please feel free to share it. God bless you.